Hi, I'm here to show you how durable Quickblade paddle blades are and how easy they are to repair should you get a ding or a nick in it. I've got here 3 sample blades, AC90, AC110, AC100. You can see this ABS edge, different color. It's a very resilient material on impact. This is a 2x4. You can see I can whack that pretty hard on the edge, and the paddle blade edge is still in good shape. However, the 2x4, even on the tip, is not in as good a shape, okay? Now, we all know there are much harder things than wood in the water and 2x4s. So very resilient material. We have a very sharp edge, but you can see much stronger than a 2x4. Now let's try this. This is steel, okay? Nice piece of steel with a little chamfer on it. Now, I put a pretty good nick in that. I'll nick both sides. But I'm gonna show you that's not the end of the world. I'm gonna nick a couple of these just to show you how easy it is to repair. There's 2 nicks, okay? 1 nick on that side. There's a pretty good nick. Another good one there, all right? So, I'm gonna show you what you can do at home, or feel free to send them back to us for warranty repair. Okay, you're gonna need only a few materials. I've got here 3 different types of sandpaper that you can get at Home Depot. This is 80 grit, which is a pretty coarse sandpaper, 120 grit, a little finer, and then 320, which we're gonna use wet sand to sand the repair smooth. First thing I do is identify the damage so I know where I'm fixing it. And just, you can see I've got quite a few to do here. You can see I got a rubber block here. I'm gonna start with the 80, okay? That's a pretty good nick right there. So first thing you wanna do is take it down perpendicular to the edge. Then you wanna blend it back in. And you can see that just going away. Now a little burr on the back. Be careful not to scratch the paddle too much. You can take that off just a little bit as well. These other 2, again, I just sand into it. Then I do my bevel, a little bit across the top. You see how I'm rocking and rolling my sanding block. You're gonna see a slight burr on the backside. Just hit that a touch. Careful you don't get carbon fiber splinters. But so that one's rough sanded. We'll do another one here real quick. Start square. Then do your chamfer. And there's a big burr on the back. And I'll show you what you can do if it's a really deep one. Basically just sort of sand it back out. This ABS goes in about a 1/2 inch deep. So you got a little leeway here. You can see I hit that pretty hard, so. All right, and before I do the last one, I'm gonna show you how to finish sand it. Basically you just sand slightly over where you just fixed it. With the 80, just to smooth out your marks. Basically smoothing out your sanding scratches from the previous grit. Okay. See, that one's got a pretty big whack on the back. Finish sand. You can see I'm doing this real quickly, okay? You can take your time since hopefully you're only doing 1 repair. All right. But you can see those are pretty good. Now the wet sandpaper, I usually fold that in thirds. I've got some water here, just dip it in the water. And that'll make it nice and smooth and pretty. Wipe it off. And that one's done. Smooth. All right, keep your sandpaper wet. I'm the world record paddle ding repairman here. Don't expect to fix your paddle this quickly, but you can see how easy that is to do. Yeah, if it's a really bad damage, you can touch it up with a little 5-minute epoxy. Let it dry good and then do your sanding. There are some other materials we use in-house to actually fill it with something that's got a filler in it, with some actually ground carbon fiber, really fine carbon fiber that we'll use to fill, just to make it a little stronger, harder repair if it's a bad ding. But you can see I whacked those pretty hard, and now they're nearly as good as new. And it's just that easy, okay? So feel free to send them back to us. My guys will take the time. Yeah, make sure all the nick is completely gone and sand it out. And if it's a deep one, we'll fill it and repair it. If you have one deep enough to where you have to actually take a 1/16 of material off, you always want to try and do the same thing on the opposite side to keep your paddle perfectly symmetrical.